Sprents, if you fast forward through this introduction, I will make you a center on a line with Bambi. And it's just you two out there. We're going to give you a pop quiz on Monday.
A 5-on-2.
Warning. The following is intended for immature. Oh, my God, Sarah. We're doing this right now, Sarah.
I'm recording.
What part of I'm going to start recording don't you understand, Sarah? Seriously. All right, here we go. Warning. The following is intended for immature adult audiences. Please do not attempt any of the stunts or activities mentioned in this podcast, future podcasts, or previous podcasts. Old man Liberty Balls Sackosaurus. Viewer and listener discretion is advised. What's up, Beer League hockey fans and fellow dumpers? Welcome, Sarah. Welcome to another unedited, unfiltered, worldwide Dump and Skate podcast, the number one hockey podcast in the Bluffton, Hilton Head area, the Pooler, Georgia area, and the Aurora, Oswego, and Naperville, Illinois area, and the countries of Israel, Canada, Colombia, and Bosnia. Welcome home, Tripod. I'm the podcast scheduler, social media content creator, official video and audio editor, the broken, old, and decrepit bender, the ball buster, the infamous trash talker, the podcast graphic designer, and merch creator. I am the admin's bitch and sounding board, Jeremy. I got big boyed by an absolute bender of a ref, Abdoo. With me, as always, the man that makes this podcast possible, the only producer that doesn't do any editing because he's too busy to fix Abdoo's blind squirrel moments. The talent of the podcast, sometimes on the ice. He made me correct that last podcast, whatever. The guy that won't hesitate to help out family or friends in need. The guy that is married to the woman talking in the background. The friend and brother that will always have your back on and off the ice. The team dad, Jeremy. You heard what the conquistador did to my back door. Ask him what the fish Sammy did to the area above his hammy. Holland. And before we get started, because he's still talking to his wife or she's talking in the background, I just want to say, Kazari, this is day 13 of your surgery. I hope everything's going well. I hope your recovery is getting better. We will talk to you very, very soon. Go ahead.
Finger whistle for Kazari. I'll have to listen to the
yes, you will, because you heard absolutely nothing.
Because I heard none of it. So Sarah got. No, it was a legit concern. Aiden, our youngest son, takes medication for ADHD. The doctor's office just recently changed it. We just got the new medication today, and not only did the like dosage and the shape and color and all that of the pill change, it always had the like scientific name of the medication on there. Well, now the pharmacy gave us medication that is one of the like big brand name versions of it. It's still the same medication, but it was confusing as heck. And Sarah was trying to lay out medication for tomorrow, and she's like, wait a minute, what is this? Is this the wrong thing? And she was legitimately panicking a little bit because she did not know the doctor had changed all the medication. So valid concerns, because she's about to try to go to bed, and she's trying to make all that. She's sorry about
all of that, though. While I'm reading it, I can see it. It throws me off.
I'm sorry. There's very little.
Did you even hear my my intro part?
I heard. No, I laughed at the Liberty Bell.
Ball Sackosaurus. Thing was like the best way to describe it. Seriously, a Liberty Bell or what did I? Oh, like when you fill up a water balloon, and
balloon.
that thing is thinging. That thing was just dang-a-langing.
It definitely was.
I got back problems just thinking of that.
Lower back problems. Oh, man. What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all shapes, sizes, and flavors? Welcome back to your favorite Beer League podcast, the one and only Dump and Skate podcast. Good night, Sarah. Oh, man. You'd think that she would have listened to it. We've got nearly 50 episodes. Apparently, she doesn't listen to the intros either.
Well, Spence, you're getting a pop quiz.
Sprint's
Monday.
going to be asked to tell us what my tagline is.
Okay.
If he can't do that, then he's not a fan, and we're going to revoke. He's going to get charged $80 a T-shirt.
He's going to be on the line with Bambi, and it's just going to be the two of them. And I'm going to make him a center because he does not like to play center.
I'm going to make him put some gold bond on Sackosaurus is what I'm going to make him do.
You need like 4 things of gold bond because that thing was just ridiculous. It was like a Mastiff's ball sack. Seriously. And I'm glad I have witnesses to it because
Look,
if I try
we joke about like, hey, could you recognize your teammate from the waist down with no pants on?
Oh,
type
this
thing
one's
like
so-
it'd be really easy to pick him out of a lineup. Like there's no questions asked.
you could
Like,
pick him out of a
yeah.
lineup like from here to Chicago. If you had binoculars,
Across-
you could
across the
just you could just see it.
That's my guy. He plays on my 40 and over team. That's my guy right there.
Like, instead of having hoes in different area codes, he's got testes in different area codes. Thing is just,
Oh man. Well, guys, that's a great start for this podcast. Before we get going any farther, we want you guys to support those that support us. Go give our friends at BNR Sports nice
good.
grin.
I'm so good.
Go,
I was nervous about which one you were doing. I was like,
I thought
please.
about it.
No,
I
don't.
thought about it for a half a second. I was like, nah, I don't want to do
I
that
wasn't
to
even
you.
going to give the phone number.
I know. F that. Go give our guys at BNR Sport a shout. We love those guys for hooking us up. Ask John about the super secret payment plan that everybody now knows about, unfortunately. But tell him we sent you for the payment plan. Don't really do that. Pay your bills like good human beings. Don't be bad human beings and not pay your bills.
In the memo, just write loan shark.
Loan shark.
BR
No
Sport.
Kmart, no Kmart layaway. Give our guys at B&R Sport a shout. Let them hook you up with jerseys, with equipment, with whatever you need. I was on there looking around, started refereeing, and I'm trying to get in that rotation the rest of the season. Hopped on there, was looking at some stuff for refereeing things, which, John, you guys got to get your referee equipment game up a little bit. There wasn't a whole lot to look at. I got
They just had probably shirts, right?
They didn't even have that, just whistles.
Really? No.
Yeah, just whistles.
No way.
I'm covered there. I got a whistle. So, yeah, go to those guys. Let them hook you up. Skates, sticks, whatever you need. They've got it. They don't have the referee jerseys, but everything else, they're good to go. brsport.com. Give them a shout. Tell them Abdoo and Holland sent you their way. So, ladies and gentlemen, it has been a hot minute since we have done a solo podcast. We have had guests of tremendous hockey talent on with us quite a bit here lately. Far, far better than what your boy Adobo or Holland can put on the ice. But we are a beer league podcast at heart, and we do need to get back to some beer league discussion. We have had some requests to talk about our local beer league standings, but I'm just here to tell you, forget that because we're losing, and I don't want to talk about the standings.
Right.
There's not a lot to say when you're just in last place.
I am losing. One of your teams is probably in first place. So
Again,
don't say don't say we.
They are.
Like,
They
okay. All right.
They
So
are.
the fix is in, if you ask Rossi. but basically every team with the zero's name in it is in last place.
Is struggling a little bit this year. Yeah, they're struggling a little bit this year. So that's okay because most of those teams did relatively well. Our 40 and over team, what do we finish second in the league to like the regular season, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
We finished third in B in regular season, and then
No, we
played our
finished
way.
second in B because we made it to the championship.
We
And
had to
lost.
play our way there though.
We did,
Finished in third.
but we made it to the championship.
The Spoon Bills got the nod in second place. So we were in third, had to play our way in. So yeah, so we did well last season. We're just not doing particularly well this season.
But our locker room makes up for what we're.
Hey, when
what
you
we're
got
performing.
the Sackosaurus in
When
your
you get-
locker room,
oh my gosh,
bro. Like, do you even need to win a hockey game? No, of course not. You can just sit back in the locker room and enjoy Sackosaurus and all that it gives.
That was
The vibes.
Instead of being the butt of jokes on Monday night, it was
We were
the
nut
ball
sack
sack.
of-
It was the
nut
sack of
sack of all the
jokes
jokes.
all night after our game. even during the game.
It was phenomenal. So we definitely had some beer league experiences, though, that we wanted to bring up and talk about. I don't have good code names for the individuals we want to talk about, so I'm going to leave that up to you because I do not want to use names. I have gotten a little, I know, I have gotten a little loosey-goosey with some stuff here, and it's come to my attention that I do need to be a little careful with the league admin stuff and all. And I've already, one of these is directly attached to that, and I really don't need to, I don't really feel like taking any more heat for that than I already
I'll
have.
do it.
It's already, that's great. That's such a help. That's phenomenal. So, jeez, everybody in my household is trying to ruin what I'm doing. My dog is actively climbing in my life. I'm sorry. What do you want me to do? I don't have a nice
Stop
super
wearing
studio
peanut butter on your couch. Don't put peanut butter on your
on my crouch.
Yeah.
What is that? What is a crouch?
I'm trying to clean it up for you. People know what I'm talking about. Now we're messing with our hair. That's great. We should have done all this. We should have had our makeup crew work on you before this.
That doesn't help. Oh man. So the first incident was an incident with you. So the episode I labeled as Beer League Bozos because I mean, I don't know. We've talked a lot of this stuff. Guys just doing stupid things. That's like it's a hockey game. What are we doing here? Like just play hockey. Dwight and I have this conversation. Dwight, the other league admin here, have this conversation pretty regularly about like some of the stupidity that we have to contend with, and it's both of our thoughts is just shut up and play hockey, right? And so we have a player that plays in. Well, let's just back up and.
You want to just go right from the beginning, like how he got drafted in the 40 plus, but not in one of the other leagues.
To be clear, didn't get drafted in the 40 plus.
I'm
already
sorry.
on that team. There was no draft. So our season started back November. And our 40 and over teams were all pretty well set. Nothing really changed there. We added 2 new teams, but for the most part, all those rosters were kind of set. There was no draft. We had anybody that came in that was new, we kind of filtered them on the teams, but it wasn't like 60 new guys and we got a draft and anything like that. So 40 and over rosters were set. This particular player, we'll just
the mouse. Yes. Like we have a guy with a huge ball sack, and this guy talks like he has no nut sack. No. Or someone's got him in a vice, like a permanent vice. Hey, you know what? That reminds me, I can send you a video of a vice. So
I'm good, thanks.
You'll get
perfectly fine, thanks. Yes. So the mouse plays on the 40 and over roster, and had previously played on a C League roster, and our league went through a bit of growth over the last year and a half, and so our C League needed to be split into essentially an upper and lower division. The terms we use are a B and a C League now. So we have a C League, which is a true kind of a beginners or novice league, and we have a B League, which was more of an intermediate league. So it's not the upper level guys, it's not a bunch of A level guys playing, but it's a little better hockey than what the old C League was, right? So the mouse played in the old C League and had aspirations of playing in the new B League. Our B League, because it was going under such a big change, we set out to do essentially a full draft. We allowed captains to keep a handful of players, but basically draft 60 to 80% of your roster. You get to keep 3 to 4 players and then draft everybody else, right? So the mouse did not get drafted by his old team. The rationale behind that was there were more talented players available to draft. And that's the whole point of doing all of this, so that the talent gets evenly distributed and it's not being done by admins. It's actually being picked by captains, and people begin to filter into the leagues that they belong in, which is a whole nother topic of conversation that we're probably going to have on another night, about how people really have no clue how good and bad they are at hockey, mostly how bad they are at hockey.
How bad. And just because you sign up in the B League does not mean you're going to play in the B League.
Correct. Yeah, and we've had these conversations with multiple people. So also, I feel like I belong in the B League is not a very valid reason for the administration to then move you to said B League. I feel like a pony a lot of days, but you don't see me pooping on the floor. Yeah, pooping on the floor and walking around naked. So anyways, you will see me trot, though. So the mouse does not get drafted, and did it come to your attention? I think someone told me.
Yes.
Someone told you as well.
Told you. Yeah, someone told you. Anyways.
That the mouse proceeded to climb on the old interweb social medias and give some kind of veiled digs and shots at his former captain.
Bitch move.
Yeah. Jokes on him. The mouse still plays with said former captain on the 40 and over team.
Yes.
Which is kind of funny.
Awkward.
So, yeah. I had to initiate a conversation, refund money. We offered C-League. C-League didn't work because of work schedule. So I apologized. That, hey, we drafted. That's what it is. So you said you played a game against them at the beginning of this season, right?
Yes.
No. You would have picked up and played. It would have been. It was sometime.
It was the end of the first season.
There you go. Into the first season.
He got me in the gut.
Yeah, with a stick, right?
With this stick. Excuse me. And then I just told him as politely as I could because
just tell him how you said it. It's okay.
I did. I said, "Watch your stick." Just left it at that. And then he, a couple plays later, he got me in the stomach. And then he goes, "I'll go with you, Abdoo. I'll go for you, Abdoo."
It didn't sound like that though.
No. This is
like, I'll go with you.
Yes,
I'll go with you, Abdoo. I'll go with you right now.
I just said we can settle it in B League. We can settle it in B League. And then he goes, "I'm not even in B League." And I just go, "That's embarrassing." Kind of left it at that. And to be fair, or just to let the public, our listeners know, he's good for 1 to 2 penalties a game. So that's kind of his style of play, if you will.
And not like, oops, I bumped into you type penalties, or oops, like slashing, hooking, roughing, boarding, like that sort of thing.
He's not getting a lot of this is just my thought. He's probably not getting a lot of action at home. So he's using his stick as a toy just to slay that thing around. You know, he's just like, "Hey, here's my stick. I'm going to just play around with it with a bunch of men because no one's touching it at home." That's what I think, because he's very
not the opinion shared by the entire Dump and Skate crew.
No, just mine, because he's just very active with his stick.
Okay,
and I'll stand by that leading up to the rest of this story.
There you go. So fast forward now to this season. Well, part of what happened, I don't think I made that game. I think you filled in with somebody when you played him, because I wasn't there and you told me about it after the fact. And you were like,
no, because Spence was on the bench with us.
Okay, well, then I must have missed the game because you said next time I see him, like, it's on. You know, like it was like you very much had the mindset that, like, hey, when we play the Mouse's team again, like, I'm me and the Mouse, like, center ice. Like you were not taking. You basically said, if he even looks at me cross-eyed, I'm gonna lose it. And you kept making statements like, a man can only take so much. And I was like, well, first off, man is a pretty big term for a guy like you, Abdoo. Second off, like, come on.
I had the tuck and hide when I said it too. First of all, the conversation didn't really go like that. I just said, "Hey, Holland."
100% did.
I said, "Hey, Holland."
You legit used the phrase, a man can only take so much.
I said, I know I say I'm going to do this and I don't do that and I don't follow through with it and I just look like a bitch.
To be fair, in my eyes, you don't. I just think it's just like you.
And then I said, I can only take so much of the stick. I didn't say, "Oh, man." I didn't say it in a manly voice like the way you mocked me, because your imitation of me is very uncanny. It's very bad. So I just said, "Lee, look, this guy, it's a reoccurring." I just said it's a reoccurring event. I can only take so much. I'm just letting you know, if it continues, there's going to be a problem. And
I think you even gave some, like, warnings of, like, I know you're an admin and I know you're my friend, but I can only take so much.
I do not sound. Why do you? It's not like an intro to a movie. My voice does. You make it sound like
you had the most serious tone. You were serious. Like you had signed a contract in blood.
Okay,
that,
look,
like, This will be handled.
But see, you make it sound like I am introducing like an introduction to a movie, like a DC or a Marvel movie. I didn't.
That's
say
what it
like,
felt like. That's what the conversation
just-
felt like from my
okay.
end. I was like, I don't know how to respond to this because it feels like if I'm like, hey, man, it's okay. Don't worry about it. You would look at me like, no, this is serious.
I don't sound.
I was like, I don't know how to handle it.
Coming soon to theaters near you. I don't sound like that.
Whack-a-mole, punch a man.
So, anyways, fast
forward.
Yeah, fast
First
forward.
game. It was the first game of a new season, right?
Yep.
First game of the new season, and Abdoo is blasting up the ice down the far boards away from the players' benches, and you and I are on the shift together, so I'm coming up trailing you. And I see the mouse put on a flannel shirt, some blue jeans, tie up his boots, and crank that stick back like Paul Bunyan.
That's what I called him, Paul Bunyan.
Whack the ever-loving crap out of he was attempting a stick check. I've watched a lot of guys in our league attempt stick checks in the same way, and I've thought, man, that's just, you should be called. The referee should blow the whistle when the stick gets like, it looks like a golf swing. When the stick gets to the top of the golf swing, the ref should just blow the whistle. Like, you don't even have to make connection at this point. Like, we're just going to blow the whistle because we don't want to see how this is going to go. Like, you should never, never. That should just never happen.
It's like
That's
when
just
you
really
play
stupid.
hockey in gym class and they say, don't lift the stick above the waist. Well, did you not play hockey in gym class? They probably
Dude,
didn't have it
I
down
grew up in the South. We didn't play hockey in gym class.
I'm sorry. Well, for the people back home, they understand what I'm saying. But this went around above the hip. It was like
It was a golf swing. It was a golf swing. 100% a golf swing.
The mouse did like his whole body twirled around like 16, 17 times. And then he just unwound. He unwound and then just got me good.
Where did he hit you at?
Right on the arm. Right on the arm, right on the hand. And
I mean, it was
classic-
wildly out of control. It was a really stupid play on his part. 100%. It didn't get called, did it?
it didn't get called.
There was one later that finally did get called. Like
It
the
got
very
called.
next shift.
Yeah, it got called by me. And I just said,
Yeah, that's true.
in the politest way possible, I go, Mouse,
No.
can you please not?
No,
do
no,
that?
no.
I would
No,
appreciate.
no.
No, I lost my shit, Holland.
Yeah, you did. I'm well aware.
I lost my shit. Like, I can't explain it because I can't reenact it. You probably know, but I went Rossi mode and just started screaming everything, yelling.
Are there any examples you can recall of the things you screamed?
You know what? If you want to get into it, the last screaming thing I remember that I said was at the referee last week.
It wasn't that. Let's not scream that.
No. But I told him
with that.
I called him a piece of shit a few times. I told him to fuck off.
Approximately how long did you throw this tantrum?
It depends on who you ask. Probably a good. If you ask me,
Well, you were blackout rage.
I was,
So
yeah.
I don't know that we can ask you.
no,
anything
it was
timing.
about. I think I wasted about 2 shifts going after him verbally.
You wasted the entirety of that one. That's for sure.
And then the second one, I remember the second one because I was while the play was over in the if you're on the benches on the left side, I was just shadowing him the whole time.
Yeah,
then
I mean,
he's
you
like,
know, it's
"Anytime,
not bad
Abdoo."
enough. It's
He's
not
like,
bad. Well, come on, you got it. Anytime, Abdoo.
I can't.
Anytime you want to go.
That's
little
exactly.
man.
If I close my eyes, that's exactly what he sounds like.
Little man.
Exactly. And he did call me, and then he was like, anytime you want to go. And I just remember getting to the bench maybe the second time I was still yelling at him. Sprents is sitting right next to me, and you're standing up, and he goes, you got to get your boy under control. And then you go, who's my boy? Oh, Abdoo? And I go, Spence, I'm right next to you. You can tell me yourself. And then you go, yeah, you're not really doing us any good. And then that's when I go, okay, guys, I'll apologize. And then you and Sprint says, no, you didn't got to apologize. Just go out there and play. And then Sprint is like, yeah, forget about him. Just go out there and have fun. I go, Sprint, I'm not having fun with this guy's hacking me. And then I remember there was a whistle, and you went up to their bench, and you were imitating what he did, and you did the full golf swing. And then a few shifts later, I'm behind the net. And
okay, hang on. So I didn't go to their bench. It may have been the next shift, and the mouse was on the ice still, and I said something to the ref.
Okay.
And I was like, hey, look, that was like a full-on golf swing or whatever. And the mouse looked at me and was like, whatever, F you, Jeremy. And I was like,
okay.
I said, no, legit. And that's when I was like, it was a golf swing. Like, that's what it looked like. And he made some other comment to me. Now, I wasn't going after him, but I mean, to deny what was really obvious, I mean, it was a wild, careless, and reckless way to try to stick check somebody. It just was. And anybody with a set of eyes should have seen that and said, hey, that was bad. Like, you shouldn't do that, can't do that, don't do that. Like, what are we doing, kind of thing, right? And so to defend that, for the mouse to be defensive of that was like, all right, so you just don't care. Like, it's or you either don't care or you don't understand like what you're doing. And I don't think it's a don't understand thing.
No, yeah. And I was on the bench and I was still yelling at him. And then everyone's like, Abdoo, calm down. Well, not everyone. Some people were for it. But
it wasn't
my team daddy and the guy that fast forwards through our intro, jerk. They were like, just calm down, Abdoo. Just go out there and have fun. I'm still yelling at him as I'm on the bench, calling him Paul Bunyan, everything I can. Then I go behind the net, and that's when he loses his stick on me, trying to, like, he was just hooking me the whole time.
It was the same kind of move. Like, it was another big, like, tomahawk chop.
That's when I just stopped mid-play, and he was like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? I was like, I'll go right now. And he was like, you ain't going to do anything. And that's when I cross-checked his belly. But that was a stupid move on my part, because his belly, there was a recoil because he's got such a pudgy belly, and it was tight. And it just,
was it like Kung Fu Panda, where it was like skadoosh, and like the belly thing?
I've never seen Kung Fu Panda. I feel like just because I've never seen it, but it didn't sink into his belly.
Nice abort there.
Yeah,
because it wasn't that. Relax, guy. I have 5 kids. Okay, I've watched a lot of Kung Fu Panda. You idiot.
It didn't sink in his belly. It just like ricocheted off, and then I actually slid into the boards. And that happened on the other side of the ice. And then he's like, oh, you aren't going to do anything. And I pushed him again. And then
belly checked him.
Yeah. Well, then I got his udders. I got him right in the udders. No, I really did. No, I'm not lying. I shoved him twice, but I got him right in the udders.
Did they like grab a hold of the stick and you couldn't get it back?
No. So what happened was, I thought it was sweat, but he actually like lactated. He had like, yeah, he had like 2 wet marks right there.
Your stick was left with a milk mustache.
So then I wanted to pull the old, I'm going to skate to the penalty box and skate to the penalty box, and I'll escort you there to the penalty box. And then he kept on mouthing off, and that's when the referee Cal grabbed me and goes, Abdoo, you don't have a penalty. Abdoo, I'll give you a penalty. And he grabbed me and pushed me off to the side. Well, I shouldn't say push, but he moved me off to he moved me off to the side. And then I still yelled at him while he was in the penalty box. And
correct.
I skated to the bench, and that's when Rossi goes, what's Neil's problem? And I looked at Cooch and everybody.
Pete was not there. Pete was not there.
Yes, he was, because him and Cooch were there. Pete was there.
Pete was not there because you had to tell him about your explosion. I don't think he was there.
He was there because he was on the bench with Cooch, and I apologized to him. And he goes,
I didn't think he was.
"What? No, he's like, what's Neil's problem?" That was on the bench when it happened, and then I apologized to everyone.
What's the mouse's problem? But okay.
Whatever. Screw it. I don't care.
Jeez Louise.
So I don't care. So then they go, what's his problem? So anyways, he doesn't listen. If you're his teammate, go ahead and tell him. I don't give a shit. So,
jeez Louise.
Yeah, now I'm getting worked up just thinking about it. But
you're getting all sweaty again. Hands are getting like full of sweat. Like,
oh yeah, like go ahead, get an attorney. I don't care. I have many after me anyways. So
get in line. So Buddy takes the penalty. He ends up sticking me in the chest later in the game.
He got you too, and you
with
tried
a stick. And I looked at him and I said, "Dude, can you just keep your stick down?" And he goes, "F you, Holland."
Mm-hmm.
And then our goalie that plays for us in B League plays for that team in the 40 and over league. And he looked at the mouse and said, "Shut up! Like, just shut up! Well, stop yelling at people."
Yep.
So post game, he came up and said something to me, and I said, "Dude, you stuck me right in the chest with your stick." And he's like, "I was playing the puck." I said, "The puck is not at my chest. The puck was on the ground of the stick. Well, I was just trying to get to the puck." I said, "Dude, your stick, you are careless with your stick. That was the whole reason I said anything to you. And I said something to you mid-game. Stop, like, please be careful with your stick or whatever." And your response was F you. I didn't do anything.
No,
I don't know why
guy.
your response is
guy.
F you when I just said, "Hey, please keep your stick down." If I launched at him and was like, "Oh, you're a piece of crap because you're sticking people with their sticks and you're a huge jerk and nobody likes you." Okay, F you.
If you acted like the way I did, if you acted the way I did, you would.
F you is an appropriate response. Yeah,
but
no, I didn't. I just simply said, like, "Hey, can you maybe not stick me in the chest with your stick?" I mean, he basically speared me in the chest.
Mm-hmm.
And
again,
so
it's a reoccurring thing with him.
correct. Yeah, it's careless with the stick. It's not fun. It's not.
But
fun.
for the record, at the end of the game, I did stand by you, and I did some good sportsmanship, and I said, "Good game," and I skated away. And then the day after that, I apologized to one person on their team, and then we played against a couple guys that were on the team in the handshake line, and I go, "Hey, so-and-so, I'm sorry for the other night. I apologize." And you even said, "Proud dad moment."
I don't remember that, but if you remember it, I'll take it. I don't know that I'm going to remember it. It's okay though.
Okay, yeah. It was I can name drop this one. I apologized to Lindsay's brother in the handshake
Doug.
line. Yeah, I just go, "Hey."
Yeah, because Doug got a little peeved at you in that game too, and kind of had a smart comment for you that you were like, "Yeah, no kidding, I know that."
Yeah. So I apologized to him, and you said, "Proud dad moment."
I do remember that.
Yeah. So I'll apologize when I'm wrong, but I didn't apologize to the whole team. I only apologized to the.
To be fair, so you
I
had every
apologize
right.
for my behavior.
You had every right to be angry about the golf swing and the other stuff. And the mouse does have a bit of a rep for being careless with things.
Right.
And like you said a minute ago, taking foolish penalties. And so it's super obnoxious. And we played against them this week and we didn't have an issue at all. And so he can play without being that way. And I'd prefer he did. And I think things would go a lot smoother. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I'm not going to speculate on why he gets careless with his stick at various times.
He's sexually frustrated.
I'm not going to speculate.
I am.
Okay. Got his phone number? You could probably send him some things that might help.
Well, speaking of,
Please don't.
No,
Please
wait,
don't.
no.
I don't need to be accused of anything else.
Holland,
because
you don't know
something.
Holland, you don't know what I'm about to say.
Okay.
I'm saying, speaking of, now we can go into a segue about a captain incident that happened with you.
Yeah.
No, you don't want to get into it?
No, we're
We
good.
don't-
No, we're
Okay.
good. I mean, it is.
Okay.
This is
I mean,
what
you
we do. We talk about beer league stupidity. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's bad enough when you got somebody that's clearly doing stupid things and that, you get into a yelling match. And so not only is player A, the mouse, doing something moronic, then I got my boy, Adobo, Boo Boo Daddy, doing stupid stuff by losing his mind and like not having any sort of bodily control. And he's just, goes full on rage Tourette's on us for 4.5 minutes. That's frustrating too. So don't be either one of those guys, boys and girls, of all your shapes and sizes and flavors. Hey, that's what actually Sarah said when I said shape, size, and flavor. Sarah goes, "Wait, you're tasting people now?" I know. So I was like, "Thanks, Sarah." So we played in a playoff game, and leading up to that playoff game last season, we were very short, had only 7 players, I think. And the standing rule for our league is you can't pick up any subs. The only sub you can get is a goalie, and that needs to be an open conversation between teams to make sure that
For playoffs.
correct, that you're not basically giving an unfair advantage to a team that didn't have it. So in other words, if I have the worst goalie in the league, I can't go find the best goalie in another league and come play for us and all of a sudden give my team a super advantage in the playoffs. It needs to be somewhat close as best as you can make it. We've never had any issues like this before. We've had to get substitute goalies, and everything has always worked out just fine. Nobody's ever had any major complaints. Everybody's played by the rules and understand what they're supposed to do, right? So no big deal. So we were down to 7 players, no subs. You said, I'm going to ask, I'd like to try to get a sub. I said, look, I can't do anything with that. You're going to have to reach out to the other captain. The rules are the rules, and see if the other captain is willing to make any concessions.
I was under the impression, because he told me that they only had 8 skaters and we only had 7.
Correct.
And I reached out to this captain. We'll call him Captain Poop Bomb. Okay. If you listen to the podcast, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Super stink. So I was under the impression that he only had 8 skaters. We had 7. Maybe he had 9. I said, I'm okay if you get a sub, if we can get a sub too, and we won't get like an A League player. We'll keep it a B League player within the league. I'll let you approve.
You even floated asking if, was it Tom McNamara you were going to ask?
I was going to ask Mekaleka High.
Oh.
Or someone of the maybe it was Tom McNamara. Either way, it wasn't.
You weren't trying to go get an A League player.
Yeah, I was not. No, and I just at that point I just wanted an extra skater,
extra body on the because we were going to have 3D and 4 forwards. It was 1 sub for each position on the bench.
And then he told me that he was struggling to get a sub from the C League or from another league. I don't know. You know this better than I. Yeah. And then I said I'm okay.
Basically, you floated a player that is very much a B League player, but because of his schedule couldn't play. And the backstory on this is that player had been rostered to the team initially because of a familial relationship. And I was notified almost immediately after the draft, hey, he can't do that. He can't play on those nights. So I removed him from the team, notified the captain, hey, I'm sorry, we've removed him from the team. I'm going to add another guy into your roster, sent the messages and all. It wasn't a fair swap. It was not an even talent swap, but there was very little I could do at that point. I just didn't realize this particular player had signed up for the A League, was not drafted by an A League team, and was landing in the B League, which is where, according to the way the draft went, he belonged, right?
Right.
And that's not a commentary on whether anybody's a good or bad player. It's just that's how the draft went. That's where he fell to. That's what the league dictated is where he belonged, not at admins, not anything else.
And he didn't go to social media because he didn't get drafted in A. He took it like a champ.
Not a little
bitch.
There you go. Anyways, so he couldn't do that, and behind closed doors, our admin team actually made concessions, and he played in a couple of leagues, right? And because these are people I know personally from like this particular player and his relative that plays in the league as well, right? So I've known them for years and years and years, and I was trying to do as much as I could to help them out at the beginning of the season, right? So we approached this game, and you offered him as a potential sub to them and said, hey, you can just grab him as a sub if you don't mind if we just grab one.
Yeah.
And, we'll still be short guys than what you'll have, but like at least we won't die kind of thing. And you kind of got the, hey, I need to think about it. Hey, I'm not sure, right? I knew this was going on just because you had texted me and said, hey, I'm going to call or I'm going to message. I'm going to see if I can get it worked out. And I said, that's fine. I'm not involved. This is captain to captain. The admin is not stepping in to try to, put any lean on the scale one way or the other, right? So shortly after the conversation you and I have, I get a text message from this captain who says, hey, is this player, the player you had offered up, is he allowed to skate with us in the playoffs? And I said, well, he is not active on your roster as kind of what we had discussed at the very beginning of the season. So no, he would technically be a sub. I said, however, your team is playing the team that I play on, and I don't want to be the only person that makes any sort of decision on this. I said, so I'm going to reach out to the other 2 admins, Andy and Dwight. Andy plays on that team. So we were playing against Andy's team, right? So both Andy and I could potentially have biased opinions on how this would go, right? So anyways, I send a message to the admins and explain this is the request that's been made. Can they play? This is how I've answered. No, they're not on your roster. And I said, hey, reminded both guys this is how the beginning of the season went down, that he was rostered to the team, but because of schedule conflicts couldn't play the dates, and so he was removed from the roster. Both Andy and Dwight said, hey, if he was removed from the roster, he's not on the active roster, he can't play. He's considered a sub, right? So that's what I wrote back and said, hey, look, he's not allowed to play. He's not on the active roster. Andy and Dwight both agree with where I'm at, right? And I think I got maybe like an okay text or something like that, right?
The captain knows now, right? He knows the rules. He knows everything. So he's in the know.
He's aware of the player cannot play, and he's aware of why the player cannot play.
Yep.
So game happens. We don't get a sub. They don't get a sub. They show up with 10 or 11 skaters.
Yeah, and we're still with 7.
We show up with 7.
But we kicked their ass.
We did beat them. I think it was 7-3. It was a pretty good beating. And what really set this whole conversation in motion is going back to the Beer League Bozos statement is I'm rolling through a handshake line, and as the there's no other way to get through this. The goalie shoves me in the chest and basically says, says to me, "You're not pulling that BS again." And I said, that was super weird. I thought, like, I thought I did something in the game, and I'm trying to think, and I'm like, I don't even think I scored a goal. Like, what did I do? Like, I didn't hack the goalie or anything like that. And all I'm thinking, all right. So I spin around. I'm like, hey man, what BS are you talking about? Well, the goalie immediately launches on me about how I locked out this player that was on their roster that should have been allowed to play, and he was supposed to be, and it wasn't fair that what I did, and that wasn't right and all. And so here we are, post-game of a playoff game that we've won, and instantly I'm being jumped on the ice because they feel like I did something dirty to them, right? And so Captain Poopy Pants is standing right there and doesn't say a word, doesn't interject,
tucks his tail between his legs and just puts his head down. I wasn't there for the shove. I wasn't there. I'm always like
nobody really saw it, and it wasn't like it wasn't like he knocked me off my feet. He was frustrated.
Doesn't matter. It's a handshake line.
He was frustrated. Like I said, he didn't swat at my face or anything. He just pushed me in the chest.
Did you lactate?
It's not the end of the world. No, it's not the end of the world. So what frustrated me through the conversation was I was attempting to explain, all of this was explained to your captain. This particular player was rostered to your team initially, but was immediately removed from your roster once we found out they couldn't make those dates, right? The very frustrating part to me was, number one, the goalie never seemed to let it go. None of the answers really seemed to suffice. None of them seemed to satisfy him whatsoever, right? Even went as far, I think, in this initial on-ice interaction to bring up the fact that, like, well, y'all let some other player come back last season and play. And I said, well, that's a very different scenario. That player was rostered to the roster and had played the previous season, was an active part of their team, and then was deployed. That's a very, very different set of circumstances.
Apples to oranges.
Yeah. And so, but the other thing that was very frustrating to me was at no point did the captain of this team, who was standing there the entire time, step in and say, hey, Jeremy is right. He explained this all to me. That player was removed from our roster. Jeremy is 100% right. He was not rostered to our roster, so he never was going to be able to play with us in the playoffs anyways. And at least say something to the effect of, hey, I misunderstood. If the captain made it sound like to the team that he was on the roster, then the captain should have said, like, hey, it was my fault. I misunderstood. It was just my bad. And then come to me later and talk to me about it if he felt like something was wrong. Right? None of that ever happens. Captains is in silence. Okay?
Shitty captain.
So I get to the locker room. I'm very angry at this point now.
Your brother even said it was a game on a Sunday. Your brother goes, Abdoo, you might want to go walk with him. It's a Sunday, and
Jeremy Holland is using swear words and throwing his equipment in the locker room.
Yes.
Yeah, 100%. I was very frustrated. It was not how I wanted to be dealing with stuff on the ice. So I go to walk around to the other side of the rink to take a shower because we've only got one set of hot showers in the whole stinking facility.
You just want to show off your svelte body.
No. And so I walk over there, and I get met. I was frustrated, so I took it on myself to initiate the conversation with the goalie now, who was sitting in the hallway. And I said, hey, man, look, I'm pretty frustrated. He goes, me too. And I said, well, no, you're frustrated for very different reasons than I am. I said, you are way out of line shoving me in a handshake line, and then hurling a bunch of insults. Like that's so far over the line of what needs to be done. If there's a problem, there's a way different way to approach it. You
100%.
could have called me before the game. This whole scenario came up 24 hours before we ever played. You had the opportunity to call me anytime in there and say, "Hey man, what's going on? Why is this happening this way?" It felt like to me it's no big deal until we lose, and now that we've lost, now it's a big deal, and Holland did this to us, and it's all his fault, and the admin team is just trying to screw us out of a win type thing, right? And so my wife is adding in Holland sucks. So once again, in this conversation, we drift into the exact same thing we had already talked about. The captain is standing there, and the captain is dead silent. Several times throughout both of these conversations, I made comments to the effect of, hey, if your captain didn't tell you all of the details, that's not my fault that he didn't tell you the full story or he didn't tell you the truth. I said, if he's not doing his job to communicate with you guys, that's on him as a captain. That's not on me. I'm communicating with your captain. Your captain has to talk to you, okay?
Yeah,
I don't recall slinging a bunch of mud at anybody in particular, and I'm saying that for a very specific reason. Take the shower, go about my business, go home. It's done as far as I'm concerned. I'm irritated about it, but I'll get over it. I get over it. This was on a Wednesday night.
Sunday. No, it was on a Sunday. Because, because your brother said you were swearing on a Sunday at church and everything.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It was the playoff. Okay.
Just listen to me. I know more than you forget.
So Sunday night playoff. So we play the finals the next Wednesday and then the following Thursday. So the very next Thursday, we end up out on the ice. Or we're getting ready to go on the ice, and that particular team is coming off the ice. We're on the same side of our dressing rooms are across the hall from each other. So we're waiting to get on the ice, and they leave the ice, and they've just won their first game of the new season, pretty big, I think. Yeah. And their captain takes this opportunity to
foam at the mouth,
come off the ice and basically jump all in my stuff and tell me that I called him a liar and called him a bad captain. And I
thought we were friends.
I said, again, full disclosure, I've known this particular player for a long, long time as well. And I was frustrated and super irritated the day before. And so I definitely made comments to the effect of like, hey, to this goalie, if your captain didn't do his job, that's on him. I don't ever remember using the phrase, hey, your captain's a bad captain. I don't ever remember using the phrase, hey, your captain's a liar. I did imply that if your captain didn't tell you the full story, that's his fault for not telling you everything or not telling you the truth. That's not on me. I'm simply making statements to where you guys need to talk with your captain. You don't need to come running and screaming at me, because I communicated very, very clearly with the captain everything that was going on around that specific player all the way back at the very beginning of the season. And I knew I had, right? Anyways, captain comes off the ice. They've just won a game, but he was apparently still so bothered by something that had happened nearly a week ago that he gets all in my face, fusses at me about calling him a liar. I told him, I don't remember calling you a liar. He tells me, well, semantics, I said, look, dude, I remember kind of what I said. And it was that if you didn't tell your guys the truth, I said, what do you want me to tell you? Did you tell your guys the full story or not? Again, another opportunity where the captain just isn't satisfied and it just continues to go like nothing I'm saying is really going to calm him down.
Yeah, he was shaking.
I mean, he takes the opportunity to kind of launch at you and talk about how you were cheating by asking for subs. And I said, look, dude, he came to you and asked. You can deny that. That has nothing to do with me. I'm not going to get into the weeds about what else he said, but hurled some other stuff and all. And I said, my guy, that has nothing to do with
nothing to do. Come talk to. I'm right next to you.
Yeah,
say something to me.
You have an issue with another captain. You go talk to that captain. You don't come and talk to me about these separate things. People know that we're friends, so they just automatically start lumping everything together.
Yep.
And then what really got under my skin was he made some comment about I needed to get this league under control, and I thought, you know what, man, I'm just kind of over it now. Like, I'm trying to get on the ice and play a hockey game. I'm already pretty irritated about the way the goalie came after me and you sat and did nothing the previous week. And now you feel like this is the appropriate time to launch at me when I'm trying to just get on the ice and play. Again, you could have called me. You had almost a week. You could have just called me. And I told him that. And he said, this needed to be, had face-to-face. You could have called me and said, we need to sit down and talk before the game next week. Can we do that sort of thing?
Not before.
I don't like being ambushed. That is a chicken turd way to do stuff.
100%.
And I was really frustrated about that.
You were caught off guard, And
I was very frustrated by that, right? So what eventually calmed him down enough where he would walk away was I said, look, dude, if I said something you didn't like, I'm sorry about that, but like, I'm not going to apologize for the things I said. I'm sorry you didn't like them. And so he said, thank you, and walked away. Yeah.
I got this one. So this is where it's beer league bozos. The guy, at that point, Holland is not an admin. He's about to go on the ice as a player. So talk to him after the game, not before the game, while we're waiting for the Zamboni to get on. He's then right there a player.
I mean, beyond all of that, like, why are we getting this worked up over something? The goalie was frustrated because of the loss, and he connected the inability for this player to play this time with the ability last season that a player was allowed to come back from deployment and play, and they lost that game too. I can understand the dots the goalie is connecting. I can understand that. They are two very, very different situations, very, very different situations, but I can understand the frustration that was happening in that moment. I can appreciate that. I would have preferred that frustration be handled differently, and that's all I was trying to relay to the goalie in that moment was, hey, there's a better way to go about this. Your captain knew all about these things. In that moment, I was very frustrated with the captain for not stepping in and saying something like, hey, relax, goalie. We'll talk about this later. Maybe I misunderstood something. Leave it alone for now. What's done is done, and let's just have a productive conversation later. That was very frustrating to me. Again, all of that. I felt like I got ambushed not once or twice. Sarah, we are shooting a live podcast. You've got to stop trying to interrupt me. Inadvertently, yes, but they don't have a problem with him. Stop. Oh my gosh. Sarah's figured out one of the players in this story, and she's defending said player. Player that was on deployment. She is defending player.
Well, then let's just fast forward to the next game where we play against them, and another handshake line incident where Captain Shitty Pants Stains shoots the puck at your brother after the game, after the handshake line. That is unacceptable as well. I don't care. And they beat us.
Yeah.
So that's unacceptable to do, even if it's like in between plays. Although I've shot the puck at someone in between plays. But at the handshake line, you don't shoot the...
Still unacceptable.
Yeah, 100%, but I didn't get a penalty. Well, either to poopy pants. But you just don't do that at the handshake line. You just... unacceptable, especially as a captain, because now...
Well, there's very, very clearly a grudge held by that team, and they kind of expressed that after the game that they beat us, that was kind of, they really wanted to come out. That was a really important game for them, and they really
they had a plan.
And that's fine. I don't really want to get into that part of it
for beer league,
but that statement you just made, like, this is beer league hockey,
right?
This is supposed to be for fun. There is nothing I ever do as an admin that is designed to intentionally harm or hurt other teams. No, you know what? That's a lie. I've been really, really open that this season, Sarah, please stop. I have been really, really, really open this season.
That's making the social media right there. Sarah, please stop. Just change this one to Sarah, please stop. That's the title of the show.
I have been incredibly open, and you can attest to this, that I took on players on both my 40 and over roster and my B League team that I knew were tremendous question marks, because I did not want to be accused of stacking my teams and the admin build super teams and only wins every game because they're the admins and everything's, to their advantage.
Where we're at now.
I just and we've lost a whole bunch, and I hate that too, because I don't want to make my teams the worst teams, but I made some of those moves within teams that were the bottom half of the league the first season. I made sure that they got players to help them get better.
Can we get some of your A-League players on our team, please?
Yeah,
the Kansas City Swamp Donkeys.
So the Kansas City Swamp.
But again,
but again, the whole thing here is like, oh well, Holland's out here and the admin is just trying to screw us out of whatever. I seriously go home and think about that at night. Like, man, what can I do? What can I do to this week?
Yeah.
Like, how can I fix these beer league games. Like, come on, guys, like grow up, like get over it here. Like, I know everybody wants to be competitive, everybody wants to play, and everybody wants to try to win and stuff, but it's a beer league game. Go play hockey. Be happy you didn't break your freaking leg and have to go to the hospital, and then go drink some beers and do it all over again the next week. Like, it's crazy.
You, me, and White Magic actually talked about this. Fondue Boo.
Okay. Oh, that's
we have Black Magic and White Magic. We talked about this for a lot of these guys down here. This is their highest level of play. This is their quote NHL. And
there are a lot of guys that just take it too seriously. Yes.
That's what I'm getting at. They take it way too serious. And this is, again, the highest level that they've ever played. So,
and full disclosure, I mean, we're going a long way around here now.
No,
White Magic has been frustrated with his team in A-League, and he's been frustrated with the team I'm skating with in A-League, because the team I'm skating with, through no like secretive or sneaky picks, I mean, I've been really open about how this team was put together. We have a really strong team. We don't lose a whole lot in A-League, and that's not going to stay together. A lot of these guys are going to get, shipped, moved, deployed, things like that in the next few months, and so it's not going to be the same team come next season. And there wasn't a great way to start. You can't just start breaking teams up randomly. I don't think we've ever just been like, oh yeah, we're going to totally bust that team all up into pieces. And so White Magic 100% has a valid complaint. There's just very little I can do about it, right? And so I 100% sympathize with everything he's told me. I'm a little handcuffed and I can do it, but he's got a valid point of, hey, you put the crappy guys on our other teams. You need to take some crappy guys on your A-League team. I did. I took one crappy guy because I only lost one guy, and it didn't diminish the team that much because there's 3 or 4 of them that are just really, really good. Again, not intentionally. It's just kind of how they ended up happening. So I get it. No matter what I do as the admin, I'm probably going to just lose anyways. So I did enjoy being able to play hockey, though, this past week in 40 and over, and at least be able to laugh while we played.
That was a lot of fun. Like when we scored that first goal, I mean, again, that was our Stanley Cup
also,
right there.
It was probably the first time in like a month I didn't feel sick while I was skating on the ice. Like that was the other thing that was getting me in the middle of all this. I was like right dead at the beginning of, in the middle of having the flu. And so on top of like coming to the rink and like being berated randomly by people who are just taking things too seriously, I also am running a fever of like 102 while I'm trying to go play hockey.
You still showed up with a fever. That's what got me sick.
I never actually took my temperature. I'm just assuming.
Okay.
I just assume I had a fever. So please stop swinging your sticks like you're Paul Bunyan. And if you're going to be a captain, please try to control your team and don't take it so seriously that, if I accuse you of not telling your team all the information, that I have text messages that prove I gave you all the information, don't come running to me later and be like, I can't believe you accused me of not telling my team the information. I mean, did you or not? That's a really...
And if you're a referee and the puck goes in the net, fucking call it. And if I ask you what you're watching at the bar, don't big boy me, son of a bitch. Like, that was such a dick move. I've never been big boyed by...
Where did this even come from?
Well, I'm just adding on. I'm
now we're going after a referee. Hang on. Wait a minute. This is... no goal. No goal. We're not going there.
Yeah, we are. Let's get into that one really quick.
No.
Why?
It's another podcast. There's a lot to go in that one. We can have a whole conversation.
Fine.
I don't know how I feel about that part. You're going to go after it on the broadcast, aren't you?
Is he roughing that? No, he wouldn't.
You're just
that.
no.
I know he's not. I know he's not.
No. You're just going to randomly do it as an aside, though. I know it. I know what's coming.
Yeah, so we're doing a broadcast this Friday.
I'll be driving.
And
I'll
Saturday.
be driving while that's happening, by the way, so I'll be able to listen to it in the car.
So if you guys happen to watch the last one, I was sick, and it was probably a yawn fest, not only because Holland was doing it, but because it was like 11 o'clock game. This one, I promise to bring, I bring the boom. I'll bring it. Holland can't stop me. I have Sprints working with me. Lindsay's doing the camera. Maybe I'll have Grant up there with me.
Oh gosh, no, don't do that.
Yep.
If he'll, I can't trust either one of you guys. I love you, Grant. I just don't trust you with a microphone in your hands.
It won't be in his hands. Oh, now what are you doing? Sarah, we're doing a podcast. Sarah, this doesn't concern you right now. Talk about it after.
Oh,
But anyways, the microphone won't be in Grant's hands.
Stop it already. Jeez. Oh man,
Grant's in.
no, don't get Grant. Please don't get Grant. I love you, Grant, but I
Well,
don't.
he's going to
I
plug
really-
his dental. He's going to plug his dental practice.
All right, that's fine. That's all he can do though is plug the
Oh,
dental
he's going to
practice.
plug
That's
some
it.
other things too.
That's what
With the
makes
hockey
me most.
puck.
That's
With
what
the
makes
hockey
me.
puck.
That's what makes me most nervous.
But
He'll be business on top and party on bottom. Is that what you're saying?
yes, with his guy lights.
No, you saw his haircut, haven't you? You haven't seen his haircut,
No.
have you?
No.
He got a lot of them cut off.
Oh, he did. Why?
I think because they're guy lights and they just needed to go away. Yeah, he
He was at the
looks
bar
a
with
lot
his
better.
girlfriend, and the wrong crowd was coming up to him.
I don't know that would bother Grant very much. He'd be like, "Yeah, let's go, boys."
Oh, you don't have Snapchat, do you? Grant, I'm giving you a shout out right now. So on Snapchat, Grant, or maybe it wasn't. Oh yeah, it was on Snapchat. Grant was on a ski lift. He said, "Hey, I met a stranger, gave me a shot, found out he was afraid of dentists, took the shot, and then jumped off the ski lift onto the ground."
What?
Yes,
Grant
He's like,
jumped off, or the guy jumped
yeah,
off?
The Grant did. He's like, met a really cool guy. Said he was afraid of a dentist or afraid of the dentist. Took a shot of something like a little nip. Took a shot, and then about a 10-foot drop into powder right off the ski lift. Let me see. If
This never plays well. So Grant took a shot and then jumped off the ski lift.
So
Why did Grant jump off the ski lift if the other guy was afraid of dentists? Was he trying to do the guy a solid or something?
maybe it was on his Instagram. No, hold on. Bear with me, people. I'm really sorry about this.
Man, we have completely drifted away from
This is beer league
Bozos
related.
into Grant jumping off of a ski lift after taking a nip of some sort. This is incredible. So to keep slightly on topic until Abdoo finds that, we're just going to fill space. And we're going to fill space with, hey, guys, it's just beer league. Don't come in swinging your stick like it's an axe and you're trying to cut Abdoo's legs like tree trunks.
It's not there anymore.
Just do your job as a captain. Explain to your team what the league admin says, and you probably won't have people that freak out and be surprised by things. If you, I don't know, tell them 3 months ago when the decision to remove a player was actually made.
Yeah.
Feels like a good thing to me.
Just
And don't
communicate with
attack-
your team.
And this is the part that I don't know if other beer leagues have this or not. And I've had some conversations with different guys in the league, and I get it. It puts me in a bit of a spot for exactly what I've described. As a league admin, my primary responsibility is to make sure the league is run well. And part of what we're trying to do, because it's so new, is make sure that there is parity within the league, that people have the opportunity to play and win. Everybody's not going to win a championship. I understand that. But there should be the ability that any team could beat any other team any night type deal. And it's not okay if you have a very, very weak team that does nothing but lose all season long. That's frustrating. You're going to get guys that get jaded with the program and don't want to be involved with it. And so I understand that. So a big part of what I do as a league admin is to make sure that we don't have a lot of that, drifting around. But I also play in the league, and I'm competitive. I want to win, and I want to play good, and I want to play good hockey and things like that. So there's this great, this pull in both directions. And so I don't know how. I thought he was sitting over there. I don't know. No, he's sitting right there.
Bud, this is going to be such a weird podcast with you
I
talking.
know it is. I don't know if other leagues have admins that play in them. But when I have my equipment on and I want to go, I'm trying to go play, it's really hard for me to put the admin hat back on and deal with problems when I'm about to step on the ice, especially when it's somebody launching at me. Like that's very difficult. So just text me the admin stuff. Leave me alone when I'm playing.
Wait 24 hours after he's done playing, or
That's helpful.
it really is.
And we sent an email actually right before the captain jumped all over me. We had just sent an email out about that.
Right.
Which I was like, did you not read the email, dog? I was like, I'm about to go play hockey. I don't care if you're about to go play hockey. I was like, clearly you don't.
We can't talk about people hopping the boards before the Zambonis over there and just swarm.
Bring
No,
it
that's
up
another one. Come
we'll bring it
on,
up another
jeez.
time. It's another time.
We only had
People
two
don't-
stories
people,
today.
People don't want to listen to a 6.5 hour podcast, Abdoo.
Only we know Zach
Pace-
doesn't because he
pace
fast
yourself.
forwards
Zach
to
doesn't
stick
even-
talk. Hey,
He's
Zach,
like,
we're doing
I just,
stick talk
when's the
now.
meat and potatoes? When's the meat and potatoes of the podcast?
Oh, I'll show him some meat and potatoes, a big
He
old
won't look.
eggplant, and a big
He
old
won't look.
eggplant of a sack. He
He
won't.
won't look. He's a hater.
He is. He's. I don't even want to say because in case he's listening with his wife.
Z Sprint's Bicycle Pump 2000 is a hater.
Oh, what's that? What is that? What is a bicycle pump, honey?
Well, you see,
Yeah. What did he say? Oh, don't know. You don't want to know. Yeah, I kind of do. Tell me. Can't Google it because it doesn't exist. Not on Google.
maybe we could fix that. Create a
could.
page. We could create a bicycle pump page.
With a picture on it, and a
Urban
demonstration,
Dictionary.
a how-to.
Add it to,
a how-to.
add it to Urban Dictionary.
How do you explain that? How do you explain? You'd have to have like a YouTube link or like a Twitter
You know how you
link.
get
A
you know how
Twitter
you
link.
get the Lego instructions where it's like take piece 1
Yep.
attached to piece 2. We need one of those, like a booklet. Oh man. All right. Good grief, that's enough. All right. Well, guys, girls, boys, girls, all of you, different shapes and flavors. Thanks.
Sarah,
Thanks
you
for
want to hop on
listening.
now? Sarah, you want to hop on now? Now that we're done, go ahead.
Thanks.
And, oh my gosh, my phone just went off. I said Sarah, not Siri. Jerk.
Thanks for listening, guys. Appreciate it. Sorry it's been so long. Both Abdoo and I were fighting some sickness stuff. Appreciate you guys hanging around. We've seen you guys liking, following, all the other great stuff. We've
Merch.
watched the numbers. Yeah, we've watched the numbers go up. Please keep doing that. Hey, look, you go to a party, you go to a hangout, grab your friends' phones and start subscribing to all of our pages and everything. And maybe they'll start watching along and liking too.
Please
we
do.
have some t-shirts coming out. We're going to have them available for sale. So shoot us a message. If you see us around the rink, let us know. Abdoo's been working pretty hard on that and trying to get something
have
that
to.
we feel. Yes, Abdoo's been working hard on that. He wants to get something. We want something that's going to
I
be
need a side
worthwhile.
hustle. I need a side hustle.
We want something that's going to be worthwhile for you guys. And again, anything we're doing isn't really making us money. I mean, all of these platforms cost money for us to be on. So we have yearly subscriptions to various things.
So it would
and so we're not trying to make money off of stuff. We're really just trying to kind of pay to make things work for us here. So,
But if you want to donate,
you can donate. That's perfectly fine.
We're not going to turn our cheek or our pump.
We're not going to poor mouth you, but we're also not going to close our hand
No,
if you're handing
but
us something.
please,
But
like-
yeah, we want you guys to support the brand. So we're getting some t-shirts rolling. Hopefully have them all over the place here in Savannah when we get up to Chicago over the summer. Hopefully have the shirts with us there, start getting them all over Chicago as well, and take the Dump and Skate name worldwide here pretty soon.
We are worldwide.
Well, t-shirt wise worldwide.
If you want a tripod shirt, let me know. We can do a limited edition tripod. We could do a white magic, black magic. Since Corey said I'm not allowed to top Houdini now. His react. Hey, welcome back, Corey. It is so good to see you back. Even if it was for a couple seconds before he got on the ice. He's playing with GSU. We'll see him this weekend. But I asked him if he wanted me to try to top Houdini, and he goes, "No, we're good. We're good." So
Corey's done with the intros. He's had enough. So
I don't think I could top Houdini anyways.
no. All right. Guys, thanks for listening. We appreciate your support. Keep doing it. We'll keep doing it. We love you guys. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Bye, bitches.